That's how it all began on a gray morning, when the air was thick with rain and regret, and Marcus Cole was elbow-deep in a rusted-out Honda, his hands blackened with grease, and his thoughts weighed down by bills, broken promises, and memories he tried hard not to remember. Marcus ran a one-man auto shop in the rougher part of Tona. South Point Automotive, nothing fancy, just a crumbling garage on the edge of a neighborhood people forgot, with a flickering neon sign and a broken soda machine that hadn't worked since 2018. Business was slow, too slow. Some days, he went without lunch. Other days, he skipped dinner too. He didn't complain he couldn't afford the luxury. He was 29, a high school dropout, working 12-hour shifts and still struggling to keep the lights on. But he was proud. No matter how bad things got, he'd never asked for a handout, not since the day he was taken from his sister. That part of his life he kept locked away. Then she drove in that black SUV. It was a Range Rover, 2023 model, spotless, shiny, completely out of place on his cracked lot. Marcus wiped his hands on a rag and walked out to meet whoever it was, expecting another rich snob who'd gotten lost or couldn't find the dealership. The driver stepped out, a woman, tall, sharp, confident, mid-30s, dressed like money, designer trench coat, heels too clean for this side of town. She had the kind of face you don't forget. But Marcus had forgotten, until she spoke. Hi. I think something's wrong with the engine. It's been making a weird knocking sound. That voice, it pulled at a string deep inside him. He didn't respond right away. He just stared, the rag in his hand falling to the ground. Something flickered in her eyes to a confusion, recognition, fear. I'll take a look, he finally said, keeping his voice neutral. She nodded, glancing around like the place made her uncomfortable. Marcus popped the hood, but his hands weren't steady anymore. They trembled, because the closer he looked at her, the tilt of her head, the way her hands fidgeted with her necklace, the more certain he became. Do I know you? He asked, not looking up. She paused. I don't think so. But she was lying. He could see it in her eyes. I'm Marcus, he said, standing tall, wiping sweat from his brow. Marcus Cole. The color drained from her face. Oh my God, a broken bar. Her hand went to her mouth. It's you, a broken bar, she whispered. They stood there, in stunned silence, as the wind picked up dust and memory. Her name was Emily. His sister, the one who vanished when he was 9. They were separated in foster care after their mother was arrested and their father disappeared. Social services had split them up. Marcus bounced through homes like a forgotten box. But Emily, she was adopted, gone without a trace. I thought you were dead, Marcus said, his voice cracking. I thought you forgot me, she replied, a tear escaping down her cheek. He didn't know whether to hug her or scream. 20 years, no letters, no calls, nothing. But before he could speak, she whispered, there's something I have to tell you. It's about Dad. Marcus froze. You know where he is? He asked. She nodded slowly. He's alive. And he's been watching you. They sat in the back of the shop that night, after Marcus had closed up. No customers, no distractions, just two broken souls with a lifetime to unpack. Emily explained everything. Her adoptive parents were wealthy, powerful, connected. They told her their version of the story, that her father was dangerous, that Marcus had fallen into crime. Lies to keep her distant. But when she turned 18, she started digging. Quietly, secretly, she found reports, letters, even an old photograph of Marcus at his high school graduation, the one she never got to see. And most shocking of all, she found their father, alive, living under a new identity. A quiet man, full of guilt, who had run when the system threatened to take everything. He didn't fight to keep his children. He ran because he believed it would protect them from the life he'd created. I've been meeting with him, she said softly, but he's dying, Marcus. He wants to see you. Marcus stared at the floor, jaw clenched. I don't want his apology, he said. I'm not asking you to forgive him, Emily replied, but you deserve the truth. The next day, they drove together to a hospice facility just outside the city. Marcus sat across from a thin, gray-haired man with hollow eyes and trembling hands. His father. There were no dramatic speeches, no begging, just three broken people trying to piece together a puzzle without all the pieces. Marcus didn't say much at first, but he listened, and sometimes, that's the first step toward healing. His father died 3 weeks later. Marcus and Emily stood side by side at the funeral, strangers bound by blood, pain, and a second chance neither of them expected. Months passed. Emily visited often. She even invested in the shop, helping Marcus expand. A new sign went up, Cole Family Auto. But more than that, Marcus changed. Not overnight but slowly. He let people in. He laughed again. He fought Urgovia not for his father's sake but for his own. He realized something profound. Some wounds never close, but they don't have to define you. Sometimes the engine doesn't need a full replacement, just someone willing to fix it, piece by piece.